two Kubernetes cluster running in two different locations. So one cluster running in east region and the another cluster running in west region. And the customer want to migrate some resource like some pod which is running in cluster 1 and they want to migrate to cluster 2. So how do we achieve this one? How to fulfill this requirement? So I will discuss in detail in this series about like I have created two Kubernetes cluster, I have deployed a pod, then we have to migrate the resource from one cluster to another cluster. So let's go to create the architecture, like how do we can fulfill on the how we can fulfill for this requirement. So now we have to create the architecture so that you can get better understanding on it. Suppose this is my Kubernetes cluster and this is another Kubernetes cluster. And in this cluster you have running one pod. Suppose two pods running there, and this is the cluster 1. This is the region of cluster, east west, and this is cluster 2, west US. So here we are using the Veloro tool. So Veloro is a backup tool which we have to use for the backup of the cluster. So here we have installed the Veloro application on both of the cluster. So suppose this is my Veloro application. So I have installed my Veloro application in cluster 1 and in cluster 2. Virtual machines, like if you create a VM. So during the installation of the Veloro, we have created one storage account. Everything I will show in the lab, like I have created the storage account, I have set up the Veloro on the Kubernetes cluster, and then we have take the backup, then we have do the migration. So this is the storage account. So that when we trigger the backup, so they can store the data in this storage account. And when we take the backup, suppose I have take the backup and they can store the data here. Similar way we have to restore. So we have created the Veloro on this cluster 2 and we can use the same storage account. And then here we can migrate the resource from the cluster 1 to cluster 2. Okay. So now we have